Hey there guys, Joseph Willers here and welcome to episode 4 of my ToCA 2 Touring Cars 1996 career mode, and we are here at the international layout of Silverstone for round 7-8 of the championship, the 4th weekend of the season. And we come into this weekend with quite an okay weekend from Thruxton, of course. Obviously the first race didn't help, finishing last, but the second race, after changing the setup, we managed to get into 9th place. And as you can see, I could just spin it there going into Beckett, and that wrecked my qualifying lap here at Silverstone. As you can see, as you may have noticed on the screen, it is actually raining here at Silverstone. It's the first rainy race of the season, and it should make things quite tricky indeed. Maybe a lot of aquaplaning could go on during the course of the race, but we'll have to wait and see on that as we now come up towards the part where it takes you back onto the Grand Prix track. And for some reason, after you come out of this hairpin, because it's the old Silverstone, for some reason it's not a little left-hander going up towards Bridge Corner. For some reason, I don't know if it was because they had problems mapping it on the environment, but it's just a straight to go to Bridge Corner after you come out the hairpin, rather than a little left-hander before going on the bridge. As you just see there, just get a little twitch there going into Priory. But as you already can tell, my lap has already been ruined as a result of spinning off at Beckett going into the international layout of the course. But now as we go around Luffield, the final corner on the track before approaching Woodcote, and trying to see if I can just push it a little bit just to ease the pain of that mistake. But as we come across the line to finish the lap, let's have a look at the grid for race 1 here at Silverstone. So let's have a look at the grid then for race 1 here at the international layout of Silverstone, the most famous track on the calendar. And as you can see, it is John Bincliffe who gets his second pole position of the season. Is he able to transfer it into a win this time? We'll see. In second place, it's John Klein in the Vauxhall, with the two Rouse Nissans locking out row 2, Owen McCauley 3rd and Gary Ailes in 4th. Rickard Rydell is in 5th, with David Leslie in the Honda in 6th position. Then it is Alan Menu, a disappointing 7th, with Kelvin Burt in 8th position. Paul Radisich manages to get one forward in the top 10 by qualifying 9th. James Thompson rounds out the top 10 in 10th. Tim Harvey is 11th. Will Hoyer disappointing 12th in the Renault. And then it is Patrick Watts in the Peugeot starting off in 13th, with James Kay 14th. And on the back row of the grid, it's Frank Bieler and myself, because we obviously spun off at Beckett during the race 1 qualifying session. But there is the grid then for the first race of the day. So without further ado, let's get into it. So here we are then for race 1 here at the Silverstone International. As you saw there, Bincliffe on the front row of the grid with John Klein alongside. As the red lights go on, we go green and we are underway here at Silverstone International, the first race of the day and the first wet race of the season. See, we get quite an okay start. We're getting alongside Frank Bieler, who's giving us a little bit of a tap there, trying to shove us against the pit wall there. Is Frank Bieler being a little bit cheeky, I must say. As we go down towards Cops Corner, we're going to take it very easy, because I know the AI tend to make a lot of mistakes at the start of this race, so we're being very careful. Luckily, it seems that everybody seems to be quite well behaved this time around. But now we're trying to get into the section of Bieler as we now come up towards the tricky Maggots and Beckett section. This is obviously a lot more trickier than the Grand Prix track, because you're having to slow down twice in a row just to get around these corners. As you see, Bieler getting underneath Kay there. We also do the same. Look like Kay had quite a slow entrance and exit going into Beckett. We'd be a little bit cheeky by taking a lot of curb there just to get through on Bieler, as Paul Radisich there turns into us there. A little bit naughty from him there. Sorry, Patrick Watts I should say, not Radisich, that's my teammate. As you can see now then, going down the inside of Will Hoy, and we lose it on the braking there. We just carried a little bit too much speed and go off there. Luckily, we don't spin dramatically like we usually do, and we don't lose too much time off the rest of the pack. But we are down to 16th place as a result, and we're 2.22 seconds back from Frank Bieler as a result. So now we've got to dig deep and try and catch up to the rest of the pack yet again now then, as we go through Priory and now up in towards Brooklands now then. These corners we can actually take a little bit quicker than the AI, because for some reason they treat it as it's slow corners. On this game, for some reason, the corners are actually fast. So just a tap on the brakes through there as we go through Luffield, as we now go up towards Woodcote to complete lap 1 of the race. And it looks like Bieler in front as well. He's getting held up by a gaggle of cars in front. I think one of them might be James Kay, and it looks like there might be another car there, probably one of the Peugeots, I think it was as well. As we go through Cops Corner, and it is one of the Peugeots. I think it might be Patrick Watts that's in that battle. As we went through Cops Corner there pretty quickly, as you try to gain time onto the guys in front of us. And as you can see, whoa, very close to contact there with Paul Radisich. Looks like he's been off the track there, and we get up into 15th place. So Paul Radisich has had a little bit of trouble during this race. I'll be very interested to see what on earth happened to him on the replay. But now we're right into the slipstream now of Frank Bieler. Are we able to try and get him in towards this corner? Bieler shoves us, but we're going to try and hang it if we can, and obviously we get by K as well, me and Beeler, but we managed to swoop around the outside of Beeler and get up into 13th place, and we're looking even at Patrick Watts as well, and we even do get Patrick Watts up into 12th place, and now in a Peugeot sandwich, and we're now right behind Tim Harvey in the Peugeot. But what on earth happened to my teammate, because that was quite wild from him, you have to say. But anyway, now then, as we're going to try and close up now onto Tim Harvey, and as you can see there, also at the exit of that hairpin before going onto bridge, we can also get out the corner a little bit quicker than these guys. For some reason the AI are quite slow coming out of that corner, but now we're trying to go around the outside of Tim Harvey down the pit straight. We briefly go up into 11th, but I know that Harvey's still alongside me, trying to get the place back off me if he can now then, as we go up towards Cobb's corner, leaving the space on the inside, and he's still there. Harvey getting back in front of us for P11, and we can obviously see that the next target, if we pass Patrick Watts, Tim Harvey, wrong Peugeot, will be James Thompson, the Vauxhall Vectra, as now we go up towards Beckett, taking a wider line than what Tim Harvey has, possibly just to get a little bit more speed out the corners. We go through the chicane now then, which obviously didn't exist after 1998, it just became a little left-hander, but in 1998 was the last year that you saw that chicane. But now we're right onto the back of Tim Harvey, we're going to try and dive it down the inside in towards, I think this is Abbey Corner in fact, so we get up into P11, and now we're going to try and catch up onto James Thompson if we can. A beautiful pass there on Tim Harvey, and now we're focusing on trying to get into the points if we can in the 4-1 day after only qualifying last. But now let's have a look at the replay and see what on earth happened to my teammate Paul Radicic, who obviously had his issues because he obviously looked like he spun going into Maggots there. So let's have a look as he goes into Maggots, and he looks like he must have aquaplaned off and just ended up spinning out of control. And he even clipped the side there of Frank Beeler, and we were very lucky not to tag the back of Paul Radicic there. But that's what happened to Paul Radicic. He just looked like he aquaplaned off, and now he's at the back of the pack. Meantime, we're on the middle of lap 5 now. We're closing right up to James Thompson's Vauxhall Vectra now then, as we go around the right-hander now then, going around the outside of Thompson, and we take 10th, and now we're right onto the back of Will Hoy's Renault, who's making progress after only qualifying 12th. We go side by side with him now then in towards Bridge Corner. Hoy's not giving us much space. He's tagged us, and we go spinning at Bridge Corner. Maybe I was a little bit too optimistic there trying to find a way through, but as a result we've been bumped down and we're down to 13th behind James K's Honda. But luckily it's not last place, but still not really ideal. Let's have a look at the replay then. So we get a good run out of the right-hander there as you try and close in on Will Hoy as we go in towards Bridge Corner, and he left a little bit of space but then just decides to turn in and sends us off for a spin at Bridge Corner. Not exactly what I needed, and that's why we're now down in 13th place as a result behind Harvey and Cage, you just saw there on the replay cam. So not really ideal at all. But now we're going to skip towards the middle of lap 6 now then, because we're closing up onto the battling Harvey and Kay. Look like they're rubbing each other through the right-hander, and again we're getting so much better traction. Kay gets through on Harvey there. Are we going to try and follow through and try and go around the outside of Harvey through Bridge Corner now? Then we'll go side by side with the Peugeot driver, leaving him the space on the inside. Casey's there as we break in towards Priory Corner, and we get up into 12th place. A fantastic move, but then he goes underneath us and goes for a spin himself. You have to blame Harvey there, who was being a little bit too optimistic, and as a result spun himself on his own accord there. So I can't be blameless about that, but it's such a shame that Harvey tried to go for something opportunistic, but unfortunately it just did not prevail for him. But now we're closing up onto the back of James Kay in the Honda as we start lap 7 of 20 in race 1 here at Silverstone. And it is the actual number of laps that the drivers went around the Silverstone International for. It was actually 20 laps. So this is possibly the only time we've actually managed to match the amount of laps it was in real life. So yeah, that's cool, I guess. So now as we go through Maggots and up towards the tight Beckett's hairpin now then, to get us onto the international layout. And as you can see, Paul Radicic has actually made it up into 13th place, so he's mounting a fight back now then. But now can we try and line up James Kay for a pass up towards this hairpin again, just like we did with most of our rivals here today, as we try and see if we can dive it on the inside. Kay blocks the inside, but we're going to try and hang it around the outside. Out the corner we go. We get so much better traction, and we move up into P11. We're back in the position that we were originally before we got spun off. And now we're trying to close up onto James Thompson for P10 again, who's 5 seconds up the road, so we need to dig deep and push as hard as we can, but we push a little bit too hard and spin at Priory. And, well, again, another costly error for myself there. Looked like I just aquaplaned off because of the wet conditions. And through goes my teammate, Paul Radisic. He gave us a little bit of a door panel spin there. As through went Patrick Watts, but then we get back underneath him. I believe Watts spun there, so he's pretty much done a similar thing to what Tim Harvey did on the previous lap. As we just go around left field, we're trying to see if we can get alongside Paul Radisic. And you see on the side of his car there, the side is really smashed up there for Paul Radisic. That must have occurred when he spun off at Beckett's on the second lap, of course. But now we come up towards Copse Corner now then, and let's see if we're able to try and line him up for pass now then out of Copse Corner, heading towards the Maggots, where Paul Radisic of course spun off on lap 2 a little earlier on, and now approaching Beckett's now then. We're trying to see if we can get better traction on our teammate, which we do, but we're unable to capitalise and try and overtake him, so we're going to try and see if we can line him up for pass up towards the hairpin now then, as we get into the slipstream of Paul Radisic. Hopefully we can keep it clean with our Kiwi teammate now then. As we go up towards the hairpin, we're going to try and dive it down the inside, a little bit of body rubbing, but we get better traction on our teammate and move up into P12 as a result now then, as we head down towards Copse Corner now then, as we try and close up to James K's Honda, who's 6.22 in front, so that's a lot of time we've got to try and claw back as we go in towards Priory Corner now then, and we've been tagged by our teammate. We have both collided. Radisic and ourselves have hit each other. Oh, that might cause tension between the Ford camp, but our teammate has hit us off and we're down to last place. I bet the team boss of West Surrey Racing, I believe his name's Dick Bennett, I believe, is not going to be happy with that one, that's for sure. And, well, I cannot believe my teammate just did that to me. But let's have a look at the replay then. So we're going to start it off actually at the hairpin just after we make that beautiful pass. We dive it down the inside, a little bit of body paddle contact, but we just managed to get through him there. And we're just able to get so much better traction than what Paul Radisic did as we go up towards Bridge Corner now then. And approaching Priory as we go. And as you can see, he just dives it down the inside and just pretty much punts us off, essentially. And, well, you can only blame Paul Radisic for that. He went for a move that was too opportunistic and unrealistic, and has pretty much cost us possibly a chance of even getting a double points finish. And I'm so furious that he did that. But now we're going to skip on to lap 10 of 20 there. And this is where you're going to see me essentially run out of talent here, because a momentary lapse of concentration, I get a twitch and I just go for a 360 spin. Luckily I don't go in the gravel, but not really ideal as I'm trying to make a fight back through the field. But yeah, that's probably one of the most embarrassing spins I've probably ever had in my career on this, but hopefully it is the last time, as now we skip towards the middle of lap 12. We're closing right up to I believe that's Paul Radisic in front, the man that took us out, and which is why I said that Dick Bennett might be a bit mad with us as a result. But now we're going to try and get onto the inside of Paul Radisic, and I believe one of the Peugeots as well. I'm not sure which one it is. It's Tim Harvey. We're trying to get through in towards Bridge Corner, and we managed to take the place, and we go up into P14, and now we're trying to get onto the back of Patrick Watts as well. Going through Priory there, getting a little bit of a twitch, but able to ensure that the back doesn't go spinning around out of that corner. Through Brooklands, and now up towards Lovefield as we try and gain time onto Patrick Watts now then, as we just go out of the corner now then, going through Woodcote now then, as we head down the pit straight to start lap 13 of the race now then. And Tim Harvey is just right in front of us at the moment. We've pulled a little bit of a gap on our teammate Paul Radisic as we go through Copse Corner now then. Out the corner we go, heading towards Maggots and Beckett's will go, and we're hoping to see if we can try and pass Patrick Watts for 13th place. Sorry, Tim Harvey for 13th place, just to ease the pain. I'm getting mixed up with the Peugeots recently. At the moment here, I'm probably losing my mind a little bit. But now as we go through the chicane, trying to close up onto Patrick Watts, and as you can see, he's taking an inner line going out of that left-hander. I don't know why, but it's enabling us to close up a little bit more now. Then as we go up towards the right-hander, he tries to shut the door, but there's enough of a gap on the inside. A little bit too optimistic. I do apologise. I do smash Harvey's windows there a little bit, but we get up into 13th place as a result, as we now try and close down Frank Beeler, who's in 12th place in the Audi, as we go through Bridge Corner and up towards Priory we go. And now the next target is to get the German in front, and now we skip towards the middle of lap 14 now then, as we try and close up onto Frank Beeler in towards the right hander we go, braking as late as possible. Obviously he's getting worse traction, we're just going to swoop it around the outside and get up into 12th place as a result. So P12 now belongs to us, and we're trying to see if we can close up to James K, 13.35, but that is a lot of time to gain within 7 laps, including the lap that we're currently on. And we're going to skip now to the end of the race. We didn't catch up to James K, he was just too far in front of us, as we even, despite the fact that we pulled a gap onto Frank Bealey, he was too far in front of us to even try and attack him for 11th place. So we're just going to come around Luffield now then, and we're going to cross the line in 12th place. I'm a bit disappointed with that really, and I'm more furious with my teammate taking me out, because we should have had points today, no doubt about it, but Paul essentially cost us a chance for points, and I wonder if Dick Bennett will be having a word with us after that race. But there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here are the results of race 1 here at the Silverstone International Circuit. Gary Ailes wins the race, with Owen McCauley in second, making it a Rouse Nissan 1-2. I believe that's Gary Ailes' second victory in a row. I might be wrong, but I believe it is. John Clellan finished in third, with Alain Menu up to 4th. Ricard Rydell was 5th, David Leslie 6th, Will Hoy 7th, with Kelvin Burt in 8th position in the Volvo. And if we go on to the next page, it was John Bincliffe, unable to capitalise on his pole, only finishing 9th, with James Thompson in 10th. James K was 11th, ourself was in 12th, with Paul Radicic 13th, Frank Beeler 14th, Tim Harvey 15th, and Patrick Watts in 16th position. And if we move on then to the Drivers' Championship, and as a result of taking victory today, Gary Ailes now takes the lead in the Drivers' Championship. He is now 11 points clear of Owen McCauley, or in fact he increases his lead at the top, I should say. John Cleland is in 3rd, with Ricard Rydell 4th, Alain Menu in 5th. As you notice, 3 guys are tied for 2nd place. Owen McCauley in front because he's had higher results, Alain Menu 5th, David Leslie 6th, Will Hoy in 7th, John Bincliffe in 8th position. And if we move on to the next page, it's Kelvin Burt 9th, we are still in 10th, with James Thompson tied with us in 11th, James K is in 12th, Paul Radicic 13th, Patrick Watts 14th, Tim Harvey 15th, and Frank Beeler still yet to go at the point scoring mark in 16th position. In the Teams Championship, Rouse Sport increased their lead at the top. They are now 46 points ahead of Williams Renault, with Volvo in 3rd, Vauxhall Sport 4th, Honda Team MSD are in 5th, with Audi Sport UK 6th, Team Valvoline Team Mondeo, the team that we drive, are still in 8th, and Total Team Peugeot are in 8th. Sorry, we're in 7th, I should say. In the Manufacturers' Championship, it's a three-way tie at the top, with Vauxhall now leading it, with Volvo and Renault tied with them at the top. Honda are in 4th, Audi are 5th, our team Ford are in 6th, with Peugeot in 7th. So they are the standings after race 1. So now let's move on then to race 2 of the day. So here we are then for the race 2 qualifying session here at the Silverstone International Circuit. And just one thing to note as well, you would have noticed in this race, it's actually cloudy for this race. Now it would be a rainy session like in the previous one, because all I do usually is after a race is finished, I just press the restart button. But on this occasion I decided to change it cloudy because you may have noticed in the previous race a few times there was a lot of freeze frames going on. For some reason my PC just for some reason doesn't want to handle rainy conditions on this game. Apparently it's too much for it, so I've had to change it to cloudy, which has made it a lot more better, but really disappointing indeed. So it looks like for the remainder of the season, unless it gets better, I will have to change from rainy to cloudy every time the random weather decides it's going to be rainy. God, anything I would do for a gaming PC at this point. But anyway, we're currently on our lap, we're approaching the end of the lap, and so far we're taking it a lot cleaner than what we did on the previous qualifying session, as we just go around Brooklands there and up towards Luffield. We're just taking that corner nice and tidy there, trying to get as much speed as possible coming out the corner, as we now approach Woodcote now then to go and complete the lap. As we go across the line now, let's have a look at the grid for race 2 here at Silverstone International. So here is the grid then for race number 2 here at Silverstone International, the final race of the day. And as you can see on the front row of the grid, it is John Cleland who takes his second pole position of the season, with championship leader Gary Ailes starting in second in the Rouse Nissan. On row 2 is his teammate Owen McCauley in third, with Alain Menu in 4th position in the Renault. Ricard Rydell is in 5th, with Will Hoy in 6th position in the other Renault. Moving on to row 4, it's Patrick Watson, impressive 7th. We qualify an impressive 8th position, a brilliant qualifying, I was very happy about about that. David Leslie is in 9th with John Bincliffe in 10th position. Then it is Kelvin Burt in 11th, Frank Bieler in 12th position. A row behind his teammate Paul Radicic is in 13th with Tim Harvey in 14th position. And on the back row of the grid, it's the two Jameses of James Kay in 15th and James Thompson in 16th position. So there is the grid then for the final race of the day. So without further ado, let's get to race 2 here at Silverstone. So here we are then, here for the final time here at Silverstone International. We wait for the lights to go off. It's the red light and it's green here for the final race of the day, and we get quite an okay start, not a brilliant one. As you can see, Patrick Watts getting a slightly better one than us. I wouldn't be surprised if anybody tries to swarm us from behind. Yes, through goes David Leslie in the Honda, through goes Kelvin Burt as well. He's got a better start, as has Frank Bieler, as we go in towards turn 1, and we've been clipped from the back, I believe, as looks like somebody's lost their rear bumper, as you can see, as with all the Davids on the track. And there is one of the cars as well, that is Frank Bieler, that has been off the track as well. I'll be very interested to see what it looked like on the replay as well. But we have a collision at the start of the race, and that is not the start I wanted here at Silverstone, as I want to get points by the end of today. Pretty much do a Thruxton really from last weekend, as we just go through Beckett's there and through the chicane we go, as we try and catch up to the rest of the pack. Now, let's have a look at the replay from ourselves then. So we go up towards turn 1. As you can see, Leslie gave us a little bit of a shove there before going towards turn 1. As you see, through turn 1, a little bit of a clip from Frank Bieler, and I think that's pretty much enough for us to send us finishing. I don't think anyone was to blame for that. I think it was just an unfortunate bit of contact, and it was very tight at the start of the race, but that was also why Bieler spun off as well. But now we're going to see a replay from James Kay, and I believe he was the one that lost his bumper at the rear of the race. You saw there was a lot of damage at the start, and yes, he just got caught onto the side of Bieler, which is why he got smashed on the side, and then he got clipped from behind, and as a result, look at the damage he's got from the rear. He's lost his bumper, his rear wing is lifted up, and he's lost a light as well. So not really good for him as far as he's concerned. But now we skip to the middle of lap 2, because it took us from that point to catch us to the rest of the pack now. And as you can see in front, James Thompson, who's the guy in front, locks his rear. So we're going to go around the outside through the right-hander, and we get up into P14 as a result. A brilliant pass there, as we now go up towards Bridge Corner, trying to close up onto the damaged James Kay for 13th place now. Then as we go up in towards Priory, as he's also trying to challenge one of the Persians as well. I think it might be Tim Harvey is trying to challenge in front. As we go through Brooklands and now up towards Luffield we go. As you can see, Kay leaves some space on the inside, and we clip him. He goes for a spin, and well, it's kind of 50-50 there if you look at it in terms of that incident, but he did leave us a space, and unfortunately that contact has happened. I'm not proud of it, but we move up into P13 as a result, as we now try and go onto the back of Tim Harvey, and we even set the fastest lap of the race as a result as well. So I'll take that as well. That was a 1:17.78 that was, so a pretty good time from us there. As we go around Cops Corner, as you can see in front, Harvey's actually having a fight with somebody in front. I think that looks like our teammate, in fact, Paul Radicic. I might be wrong on that, but it does look like a blue car that's in front. As we go in towards the right hander, and it is Paul Radicic. I just noticed the shape of the car there. Going through Beckett's now, then we get better traction than what Harvey does. We're going to squeeze to the inside of that corner, and we move up into 12th, as now we get onto the slipstream with Paul Radicic, the man that took us out last race. And pretty much now there's pretty much tensions in the Ford Mondeo cab, as we're going to try and dive it down the inside in towards his right hander, using the grass there. He didn't really give us that much space, so no love lost there as we move up into P11 there, as we try and chase down the Audi. I believe that's John Bincliffe in front. It is John Bincliffe, and he looks like he's fighting Patrick Watts in the Peugeot in front of him now then, as we go up towards Priory now then. Bincliffe locking the rears up in a way there, as coming out the corner up towards Brooklands now then. He's locking up again. We've got a lot more traction than what Bincliffe did. We're going to try and see if we can flick it to the inside. We tap the rear of him there, but unlike Kay, I believe he's managed to keep it, because he's still alongside. As you can just see the front of the Audi there, as we went out of Luffield side by side. We go through Woodcote. We're trying to hang it around the outside the Audi driver as best as we can now then, heading down the pit straight now then towards the first corner on the track, and Bincliffe just able to squeeze back in front of us there, and we're having to try hard as we can to try and get him back. Bincliffe also at the same time trying to challenge Patrick Watts for 9th place there. In front of us is Point, and it looked like Bincliffe had slammed on the brakes because he was too close to the back of Watts there. Going in towards the right-hander, Bincliffe had a look into Beckett's, didn't quite work. We're going to try and sneak in if we can through the chicane, and he taps us off, he spins us off. That's the second time we've been taken out by somebody this weekend. First in race 1 by our teammate, and now by John Bincliffe in this race, and we're down to 14th position as a result. What a shame, but now it looks like we're down to 50 now because through goes James Kane. We're down to lads because through goes Frank Bieler now then, so that's not good. We're going to try and see if we can get them back, breaking a little bit later than these two, going around the outside, a little bit of panel touch in there, going around the corner, but we get back up into 14th place, but a little bit furious there. I don't know who to blame on that really. I think we're going to need to really see a replay to see who to blame on that, as we now come up towards Priory now then for the 4th time today. Get a little bit of a wiggle, but we managed to correct it. Here we go then. So here's a replay of what happened. So we come up towards Maggots and Beckett. Bincliffe having a look at Watts. Watts essentially shutting the door on him there. We try and take full advantage in towards the chicane. And you could say I did turn into him there a little bit and didn't give him that much space, but you could also say that Bincliffe could have backed out. So I'll just say that's just a racing incident really. I don't think anybody was to blame for that. But anyway, as you can see, as a result of that, Kay and Bieler went through as well. As a result, because we only just rejoined, but luckily for us we were able, as you can see, they're just able to get around the outside of them, and we even spin out James Kay there. I do apologise for that, but it was very tight because then we had another car on the inside there, but didn't mean to do that, but we did get back up into 14th place as a result. But now skipping to the middle of lap 6 as a result, as we're now coming up to the back of James Thompson and Tim Harvey. They're having a little bit of argy-bargy going on. We're going to take full advantage of how slow they're going. It's probably a little bit slower than what they usually are coming out of that corner, and we move up into P12 as a result, as we now try and chase down the man that spun us off a little earlier on, John Bincliffe, as it looks like he's still stuck behind Patrick Watts. It looks like Watts has been holding him up for quite a while. It looks like, in fact, Paul Radicic has even overtaken both of them, so that's why Bincliffe is no longer into the points, because Radicic has overtaken both of them, and also at the same time passing Patrick Watts as well. So you got to try and go running outside of John Bincliffe there through Luffield there to go around Woodcote, and I think we're up into P11. Yes, we are up to P11 as we now try and chase down Patrick Watts for P10, trying to get alongside him if we can down towards Cops Corner, but he just has enough speed on us down towards turn 1 and keeps hold of 10th place for the time being. But Bincliffe sneakily getting back underneath us now, and as we go side by side up towards Maggots, Bincliffe with just enough speed to get back up into P11 as we go through the second part of Maggots. We're going to try and dive it down the inside into Beckett, and we do so. Up into P11 we go as we just go through the chicane, and now trying to line up Patrick Watts for a pass for P10, going down the mini straight towards the right-hander, and I think we've managed to get the place, and we're now into the points. Up into P10 goes ourselves, as we now try and go onto the back of our teammate Paul Radicic again, as you can see, going towards the inside of Paul Radicic as we move up into P number 9 there. And as you can see now then, our next target will be Kelvin Burt in the Volvo, but now that's 2 championship points that we're currently holding as we go through in towards Priory now then, and up towards Brooklands. But as you can see there, Radicic is still underneath us. He gives it a little bit of another tap again. We go sideways, but this time we're able to save it and keep hold of 9th place there. As you can see, there's still no love lost there between us, and that's pretty much that really. But now we're going to be skipping towards the beginning of lap 9 now then, as we go up towards Maggots and Beckett's now then, as we're approaching the halfway point of race 2, and still trying our best to close up onto Kelvin Burr. He's 6.82 in front of us, and we go for a spin at Beckett's. We pretty much do the same thing as we did in race 1 qualifying, but this time we go off on the inside, and oh, we clip the side of Bincliffe there, and Thompson a little bit too eager to get on the way, but we've dropped down to 13th place as a result. And now it's pretty much crunch time. We need to really get our Thruxton pace underway now then, pretty much getting to the Thruxton zone and try and see if we can get back up into P9 now then, as we go up towards the right hand. The first target being James Thompson yet again, probably getting a little bit frustrated seeing the backside of him now then. I've been seeing it too many times during the season, but as we now go down the hill through Bridge Corner now then, up towards Maggots, up towards Priory and Brooklands we go. And as you can see, he locks up the rears a little bit there. Bincliffe finally manages to find a way through on Watts there, unseen from us. But now we're going to go down the inside of Thompson in towards Luffield, and we go up into P12. And now we're trying to close down on Watts and Bincliffe again to get ourselves back into the final points position as we just go through Woodcote now. Then getting into the slipstream of Patrick Watts, tucking into him. Are we going to try and look to the inside or outside? We look to the outside, but again, he just has enough speed and keeps hold of P11, but we've got a lot more traction than what we did compared to what's coming out of Cops there, as now we go up towards Maggots and Beckett. So we're going to try and possibly dive it down the inside towards Beckett if we're lucky. Through Maggots we go. Are we going to try and dive bomb it? No, Watts defends the inside to that corner, and but he loses it on the exit there, and we take full advantage and we go up into P number 11. So up into P11 we go, 1 place away from the points. Pretty much easy peasy now then, as we're now trying to close up onto John Bincliffe for P10 now then, and then we'll be on the back of our teammate again, Paul Radicic, going out the corner. So much traction, getting onto the inside of John. Side by side we go, and we move into P10. The next target is our teammate, the man we have no love loss with, Paul Radicic now then, as we go up towards Priory. But now we skip towards the middle of lap 11, and we're right onto the backside now then of Paul Radicic, our teammate now then, as we go up towards the right hand. We're trying hanging around the outside of Radicic if we can. Radicic somehow gets better traction as we try to get on the outside. He just shoves us off, and well, you can definitely tell things are now starting to get very aggressive and tense between us now then after race 1. As we go through Bridge Corner now then up towards Priory, he locks the rears there, does Paul Radicic, as we try to find a weakness within the Kiwi now then, as we just go through the left-hander and up towards Lovefield. Can we try and dive it down the inside here? No, Radicic shuts the door, plus we were too far back. We're going to try and hang it around the outside through Lovefield again, shoving us and squeezing us again, but we're just trying to go side by side with him through Woodcote as we go down to start lap 12 of the race now then. I think he's still alongside us, we're both still fighting it out for P number 9 now then, as we go up towards Cobb's Corner now then, and I leave him space in case he is still there, and yes he is. He just gets back underneath us, and Radicic back up into P number 9, but we're not going to give up there. We're going to try and stick with him now then, as we go up in towards Beckett's now there. We tried to dive it, but Radicic shutting the door there, and now we're going to see if we can try and get him through into these chicanes now then, and we're going to try and go down the inside into this corner. A little bit more contact between us now then, and I bet Dick Bennett is finding it a bit uneasy between the pair of us now then, as we go up towards the right hand and we try and dive it down the inside of Radicic, and we do it. We're up into P9 at last, and well, that was really tense stuff there between ourselves and teammate Paul Radicic now then, as now we try and close up the 13.78 second gap on Kelvin Burt. It's a big gap, but we're going to try and dig deep and try and close up to him now then. So we skip towards the penultimate lap, and we've caught up to the back of Kelvin Burt, or in fact I should say David Leslie. It looks like these two have been fighting that, probably the reason why I've been able to catch up with them, as we all start the final lap now then. Can I try and get 7th place before the end of the race now then, as we go up towards Cops Corner? Leslie looking to the inside of Burt again. Burt shutting the door through towards Cops Corner now then, as coming out the corner there, going side by side with each other, going down there, but Burt again just able to fend him off now then. Through Maggots we go now then, and we'll now go up towards the Beckett's hairpin. Down the inside goes David Leslie, and Leslie grabs 7th from Kelvin Burt. Can we try and close up onto Burt now then, as we go through the corner, and we lose it off the corner. We try and catch it if we can on the grass. We do so. We don't lose 9th place because we've got a big enough a gap in front of Paul Radicic, but I think that's now pretty much cost us 7th place as a result. A little bit too greedy and a little bit too impatient and optimistic to get that place, and inevitably I think that's cost us 7th place. It's now just between Leslie and Burt to fight it out going in towards the final few meters of this race, as we are on the final lap of race 2 here at Silverstone International. Going through Priory there, and now up towards Brooklands now then, and just losing it a bit. We're managing to catch it. I'm pushing as hard as I can in case any of them make a mistake. Going through Lovefield, trying to get as close as I can as we come out of the corner, and we're just too far back. We're going to finish in P9. It's going to be Leslie 7th, Burt in 8th, and we're going to finish in P9. Still points, I'll take that. We did achieve our target of points, but it could have been so much more. I felt it could have been P7 towards the end. But there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here are the results of race 2 here at Silverstone International. Gary Ailes makes it back-to-back victories this weekend. The first man to do it this season. He won by 0.43 seconds, with Alain Menu in second place, splitting the 2 Rouse Nissans, as Owen McCauley finished in third, Will Hoy in fourth. So the top 4 consisting of Rouse Nissans and Renaults. John Clennon unable to capitalise from pole in 5th. Rickard Rydell a disappointing 6th, losing time in the championship as a result. David Leslie was 7th, Kelvin Burt finished in 8th position. And if we move on to the next place, we finish in 9th. I'm okay with that, but it could have been a lot more. And Paul Radicic, even though we've got no love loss between us, he managed to get Ford's first double points finish, I believe it is, of this season. So double points for Ford by finishing in 10th. John Bincliffe finished in 11th, with James Thompson 12th, James Kay 13th, Patrick Watts 14th, Frank Beeler 15th, and Tim Harvey in 16th and last. Moving on then to the Drivers' Championship, and as you can see, Gary Ailes increases his lead again at the top. He's now 16 points clear of his teammate Owen McCauley in second. Alain Menu moves up to third with John Cullen in fourth. Ricardo Rydell down to fifth with David Leslie sixth. Will Hoy seventh. Kelvin Burt moves up into eighth thanks to another 8th place finish here at Silverstone. And if we move on to the next page, John Bincliffe drops down to 9th. We're still in 10th, still in the top 10. James Thompson is in 11th. Our teammate Paul Radicic moves up to 12th with James K 13th, Patrick Watts 14th, Tim Harvey 15th, and Fran Beeler still yet to get off the point scoring mark in 16th position. In the Teams Championship, Rouse Sport continue to increase their lead at the top of the championship. They are now 51 points clear of Williams Renault, with Volvo 850 Racing in third, Vauxhall Sport fourth, Honda Team MSD fifth, Audi Sport UK in sixth, Valvoline Team Mondeo, the team that we drive for, are still in seventh as we're now closing up onto Audi Sport UK, and Total Team Peugeot still in 8th on 3 points. And in the Manufacturers' Championship, Renault now take the lead at the top with Vauxhall in second, Volvo are in third with Honda fourth, Audi in fifth. Ford, the team that we drive for, is still in sixth and closing up onto Audi with Peugeot in 7th place. But guys, that has been it from this episode of my 1996 ToCA 2 Touring Cars career mode. I hope you've enjoyed it. It has been a really fun episode and a pretty much an average weekend, same as it was in Thruxton. Hopefully we can make it 2 double points finishes at the next weekend, which of course takes place at the international layout of Oulton Park. So Oulton Park will be the 5th weekend for rounds 9 and 10 of the championship. But until then guys, that has been it. I hope you've enjoyed it, so thank you very much for watching. I've been Joseph Willows. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment on anything if I can improve on in the series, and I'll see you next time at Oulton Park International. Till then, take care.